the welcome and your plant number, log out, and your home button over here. Okay, there's a test environment where you can go in, and if you like to learn a little bit more about how this works, you can play around here in the test, and you'll see that the URL is lss-test.pcfcorp.com. And when you log in, you'll notice that the header is yellow. That's how you know the difference between the two. The test is a yellow header. Production is the blue header. Okay? And again, you'll get those links if you don't already have them, so you could log in and play around. Okay, we're going to review this menu option here, mainly under reports, where you'll get production reports. This is where you'll be able to pull down your route books and other reports. Your analysis section, well, you'll be able to do some analysis and create new reports. You have the bundle counter tool where you create a report that gives you the bundle count per route, depending on the product and the copies per bundle. You have a report preference where you'll be able to set different preferences for different reports to display or not display. And reporting groups where you could set up different routes to be able to be printed earlier, or whatever type of group that you have. You'll be able to create a group just pertaining to certain routes for printing. Okay, so that's pretty much what we're going to go over. And right here, you're at your home screen. So when you log in, you'll always find yourself defaulting to the home screen where you have the plant number that you're logged into. If you have access to more than one plant, you can change that to any other plant you have access to, and everything will be referencing that plant, what's going on in that particular plant. You have a news section here where it gives you some information of different events that may have happened overnight that may impact your service today. So, for instance, if there was a non-pub day, it means a publisher decided not to publish the paper today, so it's not going to show up in your route book. You would see information here pertaining to the product code. Alternate delivery day is when you have a product that is normally delivered on one day, and now the publisher requested that it's delivered on another day. A bonus day is similar to the alternate delivery day, except it's just a bonus paper. So you'll see this paper show up twice in the route book on another day. A special delivery day is pretty much the same thing. You have a special delivery for a particular product, and that product would show up here. A one-off is if you have a list of subscribers, that's a one-time deal that you want to load into the system to be processed and show up in the route books. That would be considered a one-off. And a late truck is when you have a particular product didn't show up at your depot, and you want to have that product show up in your route book for the next day. You can set that up. And these things we'll go over how to do that in the next section. You have performance reports here. These reports are links to different types of complaint reports. These reports can also be found here under the complaints menu. They're the same reports that you would find here. Okay. You'll have a what's new. This is an area where you can add in some like a news feed that'll go out to anyone that logs in to the plant. You'll see some information here. And vacant routes, if there happens to be any vacant routes where there's no carriers assigned, you'll see those list of routes here. You also have down here the weather of the location of the plant. So it looks like it's going to be about 72 degrees in Stone Mountain. And you'll have some information of what the weather is going to be like tomorrow. If you're in any one of these other menu options and you want to get back to the screen, this is your home button up here. If you click on that, it'll bring you back to the home page. So any questions on what you see here on the home page? So again, yes.
To South Fulton.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Fred?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, can we switch our plant to South Fulton?
The South Fulton plant number is
9162.
9162.
62.
62.
Okay.
There we go.
That's in the training today. I thought we ought to be working on their plant.
Yep, good catch.
Okay. All righty. Okay. So, so again, the performance report we'll go over on the next section tomorrow. These are performance reports. They're the same reports that you'll find here. So we'll save that for the next session. So how would you pull up your reports, your route book? So you would go to the route report section under production reports. And here you'll notice you'll have 4 tabs. Under the reports tab is where you'll find your production reports. The recreate tab is where you'll find reports that were, if you wanted to recreate a report for some reason. You won't really find anything under preliminary. The ad hoc tab is if you have moved to work area designs as opposed to client level routing, which is the type of setup that you have now. That means that you're providing us your routing. But when you're in a work area design environment, you'll be able to create solutions for restructuring your work area designs or your route structure, and you would find those solutions that you created here. So your main tab here is the report section. That's the section where you'll find your production reports. Again, here, if you have access to multiple plants, you'll be able to use the drop-down menu to select the plant that you want to review reports. You'll also have the service day. It will always default to today. You can go back to yesterday. You can go to last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or last Tuesday. These are all the reports that you have in the system for every route. You could either select one report at a time, or you can scroll down and highlight all the reports if that's what you choose, if you want to print out all the reports. So I just held down the shift key to do that. And then I can select the reports that I want to print. So it looks like someone created the 1-column and the 2-column route books already. So let's just pull up a report. I'm just going to select a couple of routes here.
Okay, we've been doing that. Unless I use the old one.
And I'm going to select the 2-column route book, and let's take a look at what we get. Okay, so this is a 2-column route book. At the top, you'll see that it has today's date. You'll have the route number and the plant number. You'll also have some information here if you have a subscriber that is on this route but is not routed or sequenced in the route book. That address that customer would display here. And then moving down here, you'll see where you have your route directions, where you start from to get to your first customer. You'll have information depending on what you have set up in your report preferences. What displays on this report will depend on that, and we'll get to that. Down at the bottom of each page, you'll see a process ID, a date and time when this report was processed. So this report was processed yesterday at 8:44 p.m. Scrolling down to the bottom of the route book, which it looks like this only has one subscriber on it. It'll give you the total by product. It'll also give you the number of accounts that are sequenced within the route book, the number of miles, the service time, drive time, and the total time. Let's move over to a route book that has a little bit more. So again, this is the title, the header up here. You have your route number, your plant number. I don't know, I hear a lot of feedback in the background. Could you put your phones on mute, please? Again, if you have an account that is not routed in your route book, it'll show up here. That means it'll need to be fixed, probably on our part, where it would need to be a street drawn in on the map so it's geocoded correctly. And then you have your directionals. This will start at the office location, and it'll bring it to your first address within the sequence of the route book. So for this one here, you have West Broad Street. Has information of what to do at this address as far as delivery instructions. So it's saying deliver at the porch. You have the product, the draw, which is one. If this person or this account is supposed to get more than one, you'll see 2 or 10 or whatever the draw is. Looks like you have a customer name here. Then it'll give you more directions to your next address. And here you have more delivery instructions. Throw the paper further into the driveway. So once you get down this side of the route book, it starts again on the other side. Through these instructions here, till you get down to the end of the page, then you go to the next page. At the bottom of this particular route book, totals, it'll give you the for each product. It'll give you the number of accounts that the number of miles, service time. That would be 1 hour and 51 minutes. Any comments or questions on how to pull up a route book?
Fred, can you go back to that last page for a second, please? When we start feeding in the bundle size. Will that show up on here, or is that only going to show up on the carrier mail?
That would show up on here. There is a preference that you would need to check off to show the bundle sizes that in this summary at the bottom of the route book.
But that'll only happen after we start providing the bundle size.
Yeah, you would have to provide that information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? So that's your 2-column route book. You have some other reports here. Let's show a active subscriber list. An active subscriber list. Let me go down to one that has a little bit more. Again, we'll show you the type of report it is at the top, the date, the route number, the plant number. If you wanted the DSP's name to be shown here, you can set a preference to show that. And the difference between this one and the other route book, you don't have any directionals here. It's just going to give you a list of the addresses that are coming in our ASL provided by you. So it's no routing in here. So it's just the address, draw, the product, and the name, customer name or company info here. At the bottom of this particular report, let's scroll down to the bottom. This will also give you the totals of the draw by product. And again, if you wanted the bundle information to show, you would have to provide that and set the preferences for that information to show. Okay. So that's just a list of subscribers. That's label, address, sequence order. Let's get that report. Let's take a look at that. In this report, this is only going to show any subscriber that has a label indicator active for that particular account. So this report will not show labels for every single account. So this particular account here has a label indicator active. So that's why it's producing a label here for this account. And of course, if you wanted to print that out, you would have to print it with label paper. Okay. You have some other reports down here as far as summary reports. The active unmatched records here, we can take a look at that. This will give you a list of addresses that are unmatched. That means it's a kick out. It's not routed in a route book. It's on a route, but it's not sequenced within a route. Probably because we need to join streets. So it looks like for today there's a total of 18 AJCs and one Wall Street Journal.
But you said those are route. Does it indicate on that page anywhere what route they would be located on?
Yes, the route numbers appear at the top.
Okay.
So for this route, this is everything on this particular route that is on the route book. You'll see it at the top of the route book, but it's not sequenced in the route book because it needs to be geocoded. Okay. Okay. We have a vacation hold list. If there's any accounts, let's see if there's any that's on a vacation hold. If there's an account where a customer indicates they wanted you to hold their papers for a particular time because they're on vacation, that'll be set up, and this is what it would look like in this report. So you'll have a grayed out little highlighted area here telling you that this particular address, this particular product is on hold since this date for 3 copies. So basically 3 days. So that's what a vacation hold.
Will that also show up in the route book?
This will show up on this report, and it will also show up in the mail.
In the mail?
The wildcard report is similar to the unmatched records. These are accounts that are not routed. You really, I don't know how many of these you would actually have here. But it looks like you have one account. Looks like it was an add insert that has no route value. So that you would need to find and assign it to a route to deliver it. Then you have some carrier mail reports. Looks like somebody recreated these. And here you'll get different information as far as the customer complaints per thousand, the CPM. You'll have other information here as far as complaints, restarts, new starts. So this one here would be a restart. All right, there's another complaint. There's a complaint here for this particular address of the product, the address, and the person's name. So that's what you would see in a mail report. Let's see, a cross-tab report. This report, take a look at this one. This report will give you a cross-tab of every product that's in the plant and the draw that particular product has for each route in the total. As you scroll through here, you'll see it has every route, the number of AJCs and other products per route, and the total at the bottom. So that's a draw recap report.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Can that report be captured for the week? I noticed it's a one-day report, correct?
Yeah, this is a report just for today.
Right. Can you Is that something that you could capture for the entire week, for example, for a 7-day period?
No, there's a 7-day report,
Okay.
route report, but not a draw recap.
Okay.
So no.
Just
I mean, there's a way that you can kind of, get that type of information. You need to download the service location table and massage the data to give you totals by day.
No problem.
All right. Here's another draw recap report. It just displays differently. Some people like this where it's the route and just gives the totals for each route depending on the product. So depending on what your preference is and what you like to view, some people like this view, some people like the other. Same information. A route summary report. Let's take a look at that. You have the plant number, all the routes here are the route IDs. You have the time span for the route. You'll have the travel time, service time, facility time. Usually there's really nothing here for the facility time. For the travel time and service time, give you a total time, the number of locations. This is not the draw. This is the number of locations. So this could be one location where you would need to drop a bundle that has 50 copies in it because the draw is 50. All right, so don't confuse the location count with draw.
So
And the total volume.
if we dropped an AJC and a Wall Street Journal at the same place, then it would only count as one location.
It would be, well, that's all going to depend on how that account comes in. If it's two separate accounts, that's two separate locations.
Okay. So if it's two separate accounts.
Two separate accounts. Yeah, so this is one account at one location with a particular draw. If you have another account, that would be two records.
Okay.
Right? So two locations with a particular draw account.
Okay. So it counts the account numbers.
The number of locations at that particular geocode location. So
Okay.
it's only one.
Okay.
It's not the draw though.
Correct.
The draw is different. Okay, so you can scroll through here and you can see the number of locations or number of stops this person, is going to be making here, and you'll get a total time, total distance, miles, and you'll have the totals at the bottom. Okay, so again, just don't get confused with the location count. That is not the draw. I think most of these have a draw of one, so it may match up with your draw, but just remember it's actual locations. Okay. So those are the types of reports that you would see here. Again, this wildcard is the same thing as this active wildcard list. Any comments or questions of how you would pull up a report or get a report? And of course, once you get a report, right, you would print it, right? Or file print, whatever you prefer. Okay? recreate will allow you to recreate a report for a particular route or all routes. Now, you may want to do this because let's just say you have a carrier that didn't have somebody else covering, or maybe a staff member, and this carrier only had an active subscriber list. They knew their route, so they really didn't need a 2-column route book. So you only had a active subscriber list. Let's just say you wanted to create a 2-column list route. Then you can come in and select the route and create a 2-column route book, or any one of these other reports here. So you would recreate. If you have access to other plants, of course, you can select the drop-down menu here, select the plant. Today will always be today. And the report default, right now you're all using plant report preferences. So based off of the plant report preference that you have set up for each of these reports, if you have them active, what will be displayed or not displayed will depend on your plant preference. If you had set up route report preferences for a particular route, then and you want to use that route report preference that was set up for that route, then you would select route preference here. And we'll get into the report preferences in a few minutes. So let's just say we want to pick a route and we want to create a, let's see, how about a 7-day active list? Let's see what we get.
Well, that's not one of our routes right there.
Oh, this isn't?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
That first one there, that would be our first route right there.
Which one? This one.
Yes.
These other two are not your route?
Correct.
Let me
I've already considered that. I'll get those two.
All right, I'll take a note of that. Okay, so let's select this route. Let's cancel that. Well, let's do a 7-day on this route. See what we get. Okay, so on the 7-day route list, this report is providing information for all 7 days. It'll give you the address, the house number, the publication, and it'll also give you the draw by day. So for Monday, it's 1. So for Monday through Saturday, it's a draw of 1, with no draw for Sunday. So some carriers may like to see this report so that they have an idea of where they're going to be going, you know, for the week. All right, we have the customer's name. You'll still see information as far as events happening on a particular account, so that would be a restart. If there's anything like a vacation hold or stop or anything like that, you would see that information highlighted for that particular route. All right, so this would be a 7-day route list. You can create any one of these reports. So you could play around with that and see if there's a report that you would like to make active to be created every day. So that's how you get the reports. That's how you recreate reports. If you made a change in report preferences, you can come here and recreate the report to see the changes that you did. So that may be another reason why you would recreate your book.
Okay, say it now. Say it now, Frederick.
Hello? I don't, is someone asking a question, or is that another conversation in the background? I don't know. Okay. All right. So that's your report section. Any other comments or questions about the report section? So the analysis section, we're going to move on. Analysis section does the same thing, except it'll allow you to eliminate a product or just pick a particular product that you want to see in a route book for analysis. You wouldn't want to necessarily deliver from these reports. It's just to see how many particular publications you have on a particular route, depending on the day, that type of analysis. So let's just say we selected, all of our routes, we can select all, and we wanted to see how many AJCs, Sunday only, let's just say. We wanted to see that report in a active subscriber list. I can get that report. So again, this wouldn't be something that you would want to deliver off of. It's more of a tool to get information. And depending, let's see, how long is this going to take? Let's look at all the routes. Let's just wait and see what happens here. While we're waiting for this, any comments or questions?
Fred, while we're waiting, actually, we can just mention that a topic was brought up last week about the Barons, and we did see that it has been taken care of by the Cox Media, so it should be resolved for this Sunday. They were sending it to us on Saturday and Sunday, so they have resolved it, Mike. So that has been, they did send it to us this past Sunday, so we did take care of it. They said they're going to stop sending it to us for this Sunday, so we'll keep a close eye on that. So I do appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay, I probably should have selected all the routes.
Yeah, especially when it's
a little bit longer. while that's working, I'm just going to go over here and into our QA environment and continue on. So we were in the analysis section. I think we wanted to do 9162, right? We were in the analysis section. Let's go back there. Where we're able to select routes, select different products or all products, one particular frequency, Sunday only, or all 7 days, or any one in between, and create a report that reflects what we've selected. You could use a plant report default for the preference, and it could be based on client or product, which in most cases it doesn't really make a difference. But sometimes a client may have multiple different product codes. So depending on what you choose there, you may want to just have products. All right. That's how you would use this tool for analysis. And again, you have different types of reports that you can create based on your selection. It looks like that's still working here. Any other comments or questions on the analysis section? So we're going to move on to the bundle count tool. And notice again, we're in the QA environment because it's yellow, right? As you can see, it's the same thing. Except you could play around here, you won't mess up anything. So in the bundle count tool, this will allow you to create a report of the number of bundles on a route for a particular product. So let's just pick a route and let's pick a product, and we just want a home delivery. Usually the bundle counts are different per product. So you would normally only pick one product here and put in the bundle for that particular product, which may vary by day. You can either hide groups or display groups, and we'll go over what a group is. And this just tells you the type of label, report type that you would, print out. And you can either hide first name, last name, or show it. Okay, so let's just take this particular route. Let's take a couple of routes here. And let's create a report. And while that's working, let's go back here. Looks like this report is ready, so I'm going to open it. And it didn't produce anything. So maybe that's why I was struggling. So let's go back here. All right. So here's a bundle count report for the routes that I selected. I selected the AJC product. The Z1 means it's home delivery. That's just a code for home delivery. These are the route numbers. The bundle size is the bundle size that I entered. And again, the bundle size may vary by day. That's why this tool is usually used as a manual type of tool. The draw for the route. So this is how many AJCs are on this particular route. So that means if it's a bundle of 40, it will be 2 bundles plus 4 loose copies. This is a draw of 38 on this particular route. Since a bundle is 40, there will be 1 bundle minus 2 copies. Same thing here. This has a draw of 85 on the route for the AJC. We have a bundle size of 40, so that will be 2 bundles plus 5 copies. Any comments or questions of what you would see in a bundle count report? We did mention groups. To display groups, you can create a group by going up here to the Manage My Groups. And let's just say we had a carrier that had 2 routes. And this particular carrier has these 2 routes. So when you're dispatching the papers to them, you want the bundle count to include information combining both routes. So let's just say you wanted to join those. That means that on the bundle count tool, it'll combine the total bundles for these 2. If you no longer want these 2 routes to be joined together, let's just say you recontracted one of these routes to someone else, you can come here and release to join so that the bundles aren't grouped together. Okay. So if I go here and I want to display my groups on the report, this is a group that I created. And let's select that. Let's select the AJC. And let's create a report. Let's see. Okay, so as you can see, it grouped these 2 routes together. It's giving you the totals for each route, the bundle count for each route, and it totaled the group. So if you have one carrier doing both of these routes, then you can dispatch their papers by looking at the totals here. So they will have a draw of 122 for the AJCs. It means that they would get 3 bundles, right, and 2. That's how the groups will display on the reports. Any comments or questions about this? And route unassigned just means that this route doesn't have a carrier assigned to it, apparently. Otherwise, it would show a carrier name here. That's to show first and last name. You can also manage your advanced bundles. So if you happen to know what tomorrow's bundles are going to be, or what the next month of bundles are going to be for a particular product, you can schedule this. Let's see if we can show the schedule. Is there anything scheduled here? So we don't have anything scheduled there. So let's go back here and manage. We can schedule in advance. So by selecting that bundle, I can choose a date range, or I could just make multiple selections. So let's just say for the next three days, the AJC is going to be a bundle of 40. So let's just schedule that. Now, let's go back here. Let's refresh this. And let's, now when I select the show schedule, I will see that I have scheduled the 7th, 8th, and 9th for the AJC product with a bundle of 40. If this changed, we could edit it here. If you no longer need it, you can delete the entry. That's how you would schedule bundles in advance. So for instance, this particular product always comes in a bundle of 40. You could schedule that in advance for whatever amount of time and just come in and edit it when it happens to be different for that day and recreate the bundle count or recreate your reports. Okay. If you no longer need to have this schedule, then you can delete the entries. Scheduling these bundles will allow you not to have to come in and do the bundle count every day. But again, you would have to know what the bundle count is going to be in advance. Sometimes that's just not possible. Okay? So this is your bundle count tool. Any comments or questions?
Fred?
Yes.
One quick question on the groups. Other than showing what the groups are, is there a way to just check those groups and print off just those groups? Or do you actually have to highlight each one?
You would still have to highlight the, if you just want to show those particular routes that are bundled in the group, you would have to select each of those routes. Okay.
Because I can see this tool being very useful, particularly when you're dealing with carriers that throw, 2 or 3 routes, other than having to manually add up all the papers to setting it up by the group so that they can stop and it would actually give them their total.
Yeah, that's exactly what this tool is for. Okay.
Okay.
Let me go back and manage my group. I want to release this group. And now that group is gone, I can create another group or multiple groups. All right. Any other questions on the bundle count tool? The report preference. The report preference, like I mentioned before, two different kinds here. We have a plan report preference and a route report preference. The difference between the two is the plan report preference is for the entire plant, so that every route in the plant will receive the same preferences on the reports that you made active. A route report preference you would create for individual routes that want something different than the plant report preference. The route report preference will override the plant report preference. If there's no route report preference, it's going to default to the plant report preference for the reports. So when you go into the plant report preference, let's look at the route books. You'll see that you have different report types. You have a 1-column, 2-column, mini route book, and you'll see the report preference here for the 1-column and the details that you want to add or remove from the report. Okay, the 2-column route book, same thing. They all have the same preferences that you can select from. Okay. All right, so for this particular report, the 1-column route book, let's just say you want every route in the plant to receive a 1-column route book for some reason. You will come in here to the report preferences for the plant report preferences. If you don't want to see the other reports, then preferences, you can just unselect those, and now you can see that it only displays the 1-column route book. That's the one that you want to work with. And what you would need to do first is to activate the report. This means that the report is not being created every day for the plant. If you want it to be created every day for the plant, you would have to activate it. Once you activate the report, then you would have to check off the different items in the preferences to display. So, for instance, if you want to display address instructions or delivery instructions, if you want to display the business name, the customer account number, you have cross streets. Now, remember, the more you check off here, the more is going to display on your report. So you might want to just, play around with it and print out the report and see if that's what you really want all your carriers to see. You can check to display the customer's full name. There's other information here that you may want to check. Check the display complaints per thousand. That's the CPM at the top of your outbook. If you want to show the product in bold, some people may have a difficult time seeing, or you just may want to show the product in bold so the carrier tosses the correct paper. Then you would check that off. Here's one. Automatically order the building with floor and apartment number from ascending to descending, or descending order or ascending order. So depending on your apartments in your area and how a person delivers, some people may want to deliver from the bottom up or from the top down. So depending on the order of the buildings, you may want to have it ascending or descending. Or maybe not at all. Down here, this is the totals at the bottom of your outbooks. You may want to check off display bundle sizes on the recap. Again, if you're providing that information will show. Okay. You may want to show combos and zones separately. You may want your summary to show at the top or at the bottom, or not at all. On a report like a label, you may not want to have the totals show at all if you're printing labels. Some people may like their totals to show at the top of the report instead of at the bottom. So when they get their route book, they don't have to go to the last page to see what the totals are. The totals are on the first page. Once you make your selections, you would select save your changes. Now that report will be active the next time the plan is processed. If you wanted to see what this report looks like, you can go back here into the report section and recreate and select the route and recreate the one column route book, because you just changed the preferences for the one column route book, right, on the plant report level. So again, if you made changes to the report, you can come to the recreate section and recreate the report that you just made changes to in the preferences to recreate it and see what the results are. You may say, oh, it's a little bit too busy. I have too much information here. The carrier is going to get confused. Let me go back and take out some of this information because it may not be needed. To me, the cleaner, the better. The less, the better. Okay? Plan report preferences. We were at the route books. So the one column route book we made active, and you can tell we made it active because we don't have a activate button. We have a save changes or deactivate button. So let's just say, you know what, we already have the two column route book. That's sufficient enough. We don't need a one column route book. We can deactivate that report. That means that that report will no longer be created automatically every night. Okay. You really, for the processing, you may want to make sure you only have the reports that you really need as active reports. If you don't really need them, you don't really want the system to spend time creating reports that you don't need. Okay?
Fred, mini route book. What is a mini route book?
A mini route book. Let's see if we can activate this report. Let's see. We have that in the. Do we have the mini route book? The mini route book. Let's select route. Let's see what it looks like. All right. So it's a route book. It has all the same information in it. It's just a different way of how it's displayed. So it's kind of like the one column route book, but as you can see, it's kind of centered in telling you that on the left side, you're going to be delivering these papers. On the right side, you're going to be delivering this one. You're going to take a U-turn, and you're going to go down this street. And on the left, you have this delivery, and this delivery are all on the left. So it kind of gives you a visual view of the delivery.
Like it moves the right hand to the right page.
Yeah, instead of depending on the arrow to know which direction or which side the account is on that you need to throw, it's kind of telling you that by how it's displayed. You're going to throw it to the right, to the left. I don't know too many people that really use this route book. Even though it's mini, it's not necessarily mini in size or in less paper.
Right.
It's actually more paper.
Paper, because it's basically printing a page instead of a double page, because a double.
Yeah. So it's going to be more pages.
Right.
But it's going to give you less to look at per page. So it may be easier for some people to view that type of route book, especially in the dark. But like I said, I don't know too many people that really use that type of route book. But that's how it will look.
Yeah, I could see where this might be useful if they put it on a mobile device.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Well, we actually have a different type on a mobile device.
Okay.
So when we go to the DSP portal, we'll get to that. We'll show you the mobile device one. But the mobile device is one very clear too.
Yeah. So Debbie will go over that during her training.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's just see. Report preferences. Okay, so that's the plant report preference. So we were here in the route book section. We just went over the mini route book. The route books most people use are the 2-column route books. And you can check off to display or not display any of these items listed here. And you would have to save your changes. Okay. Since this is a plant report preference, this one preference here will be applied across all routes. Okay. Same thing with the active subscriber list. These are the different types of active lists you can create or make active, like the active sub list and alpha order. That may be a report that you want to create every day. You have to make it active. The weekday active list, the weekend active list. There's different kind of reports that you can make active. When I mean making active, that's having the reports being created every day. And down here at the bottom, you can see how you can navigate through the different types of reports. And again, this will all be under plant report preference. So for label, the label that you have here is the label address sequence order. This is what, well, in production is active. And then you can display what you need to display here on the label. You may not want to show the totals at the bottom. And depending on if the account has an active label indicator, then only those accounts will be listed in this report. Okay. And you have other label reports where you could just print out labels for everything in a sequence order. You can activate that report or in the address order, that report. And as you can see, the preferences are all the same for each of these reports. And you also have mail labels, or this report here for the mail labels. This will allow you to create a report or label based off of the activity on the accounts. So let's just say the AJC, let's make it address sequence order. Let's just say this particular product, you've been getting a lot of complaints, let's say. So let's just say you want a label based off the mail complaints. And if it's a hot complaint, third level hot complaint, and you can create a report. That'll be a complaint label, and you can check off what you want to display on this particular report so that you can provide that to the carrier and have them, you know, it's kind of like a reminder type of thing where you can have that carrier label the report, label the paper so that they know to not miss that delivery. So you can display whatever you want to display here. Customer's name, address, instructions, name. Or you can create a report. Let's just say we want to save the changes there. Or you can create a report based on a particular product or all products where you have a new start and a restart. New start, try that again, and a restart. Okay, and be a restart reminder. Give it a name. You can add that report. Now create a label for any product that has a new start or a restart. So the carrier can then take that label, you can place it on the paper. It's a reminder that they need to deliver it. So it's a little handy tool. You can create these little custom reports based off of your mail transaction codes. If you decide you no longer need these reports, you can deactivate them, create a new one. That's the mail label reports. Any questions on the mail label reports? Okay. You have summary preferences. I don't think there's really. Okay, here you go. For the route bundle cap, a bundle count recap. This options of what you can do as far as how that would display. Or the route carrier mail report, whether you want to display the complaints per thousand or the delivery person's full name, you would come here or activate or check it off. So you got the carrier mail, the bundle read, and the per route. Any comments or questions on these summary reports? It's not that many options. It's really just displaying the name, the font size of how it's going to display in the CPM. Creation log is just going to give you some information on the activity of these. Really nothing to review here. All right, so that's their plant report preference. The route report preference has the same options. Route report preference. So, steady as she goes here. The route report preference. For a route report preference, it's for each individual route. As you can see here, this one column route book would be just for this route. If you wanted to activate that report just for this route, and you can activate a one column route book and put in the preferences that you want to display. Then you would go down to the next route. You could activate that route, put in check off the preferences that you would want to display on the route book, and save the changes. As you can see, if you have a lot of routes in your plant, managing each individual route's reports and how they display may take some time. But if there's a particular route that needs to have a different report displaying differently from how the plant report preferences are set up, then you would just want to select that route and give it a route report preference to display the way the carrier wants it, if it's something that's mandatory. Otherwise, you really would want to stick with the plant report preference. It's much easier to manage, and the preferences that you set are for all routes.
So you would pretty much use this tool just to manage exceptions.
An exception to the rule, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be difficult to manage this on a regular basis for every route. But some people may want to prefer it that way.
So if you could show them, let's say that we had a two-column route book as our standard, but let's say this one carrier has a hard time seeing or reading that, and we wanted to create a one-column route book for one particular carrier.
You would go into the route report preferences, you would find the route number that you need to create a one-column route book for. Select the one-column route book up here, so that's the only thing it is. And you only want to see the active routes. Okay, so you would select the one-column route book, you would find the route where the person has difficulty and you want to create a one-column route book that's within the system, you would activate that report just for that route and add in the preferences that you want to display on that report. And this will override plant report preference for that route.
So when you print that route book every morning, it's going to print as a one-column route book.
It'll make what'll happen is it'll make a one-column route book available. See how you have two-column route books when you select one individual route?
Right.
Well, it looks like the report preferences really aren't set up here in
In the
UA. But either way, see how it has one report. You'll also have a one-column route book.
Okay.
Created every day.
Okay.
Just for that route.
You would have to individually choose that particular route on this in order to get the one-column route book.
Yeah, well, even if you chose all the routes, and you see, if I select all the routes, it's going to show me all the reports that are available amongst all of our routes, all of the routes here.
Right.
So if I had a one-column route book, and I know that there's only one route that has a one-column route book, it's only going to print the one-column route book.
Okay.
So otherwise, you'd have to just go find the route that has the one-column route book and print that report.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to check on the time here. So that's the plant report preferences. That's the route report preferences. The preferences are the same, except that the route report preference, it would only want to create for a particular route as an exception to the rule. Your main report preference would be the plant report preference, and that'll be set up for every route in the plant. If you have a number of route report preferences that you want to create or copy, you can use the copy report preferences. And you can select the route that has the preference that you want to copy to everyone else for, let's say, a one-column route book. And you now want to give, 5 other routes the same report preference that you made for this particular route. So you would select the route that has the preference that you want, select the report that you want to copy, and you can select just the active routes, and you can select the individual routes that you want to receive the same preference of a one-column route book. Okay, and you can copy the report preference, and this will confirm that you want to copy it, and it will allow you to make the report active or inactive. So let's just say you want to make the report active, and I can select yes, and that means that I'm going to turn on the selected reports as active for those routes, or one-column route book. So again, that's a handy tool if you're managing route report preferences and you want to copy one to another. This is not for plant report preferences. Okay. Any comments or questions on how to copy a route report reference from one route to another? All right, so that's your report preferences. Report grouping. Grouping is for situations where you have a group of carriers that come in early. Their products and their route books are usually early, so you want to get them out of the door as fast as you can, or before everyone else. You could come in here and make a group for those routes. You can make this the early group by editing the group header. All right, so now you have the early group. These routes come in early. You can come down here to the printer and set up the reports that you want to print for this group. Okay, so here you'd want to grab and drag the reports that you want to print for this particular group. Okay. And you would get reports. And you can close. When you come in the next day, you can go back to that group and you can do the same thing. It's just a way to selectively manage what prints first or what group of reports print. In most cases, printing your reports from here is sufficient, where you select or certain reports, select the report, get the report. Right? This is just another little fancier way to manage that. Also, depending on how you order these reports, when the report prints, it'll print the carrier mail first and then the route book, if I had it this way. So we'll print the 2-column route book and then the carrier mail. All right. Any questions about the grouping? So again, let's see, I have a few minutes here. I'm going to go back to the home screen by clicking on the home button here. Remember, we have this information that we reviewed. We can get the news of events that's happened. So you can take a look at here. If a late truck was entered, non-pub day, alternate delivery day. We have these reports, which we will go over, but just to show you a report, we can look at the previous day's complaints. Let's pull that. And I can see the previous day's complaints here. You'll have an indicator whether it's a repeat complaint or not. You'll have the route number, whether it's recoverable or not. The yes, the why was yes, it's recoverable. The time that was entered. You have the account number and all the other information about that particular account, the address. Okay. Again, this is the same report as this. You can show just recoverable just by selecting the Y in this little drop-down menu. You can select for missing from or to. You can select a date, a starting date. So from the 29th to the 5th, you can download this report into an Excel spreadsheet. Which will look something like this. Previous day's complaints for this plant. These are all the recoverable complaints from 5/29 to 5/5. It looks like you have, this is all, this is not just recoverable, this is all. So you have recoverable and non-recoverable complaints here. So you could use this information to do some analysis. Okay. I have a few more minutes here. You can change the page size. To show more. So I'm just showing 100 per page. Okay. You can look at today's complaints from this menu. This would be today's complaints. Again, you could download this information here. Ticker is telling you complaints it is 27 for today. You'll have that same information as far as account number, route, whether it's recoverable or not, the time it was created, whether it's a recoverable verification or not, whether it's a hot complaint or not, other information of the complaint code, missing paper, it could be a wet paper, etc. Give you the product, the person's name, the address, information. Okay. And again, you can download this information into an Excel spreadsheet like I did before. You can customize this view to display or not display any of this information. Usually we would want to have them all displayed. You can change this to just show the recoverable complaints. You can view hot complaints. I don't think we really have anything there as far as hot complaints. Repeat complaints. You might want to go back in time to see if there's any repeat complaints. You don't really have any, so there's really nothing to display there. We did the previous day's complaints. Next day recoverable. Doesn't look like you have anything there. So it's not much to review. The CPM report, the complaints per thousand. On this information here will give you the plant number. You could select all the plants. You can select just the plant that you're working with, and it all depends on what you have access to. Okay. This information here, complaints per thousand, really don't have information there, but you can download these reports here. You can go back for a period of time and show CPM, which right now we're only showing the draw, or you can see the CPM by route. Let's see if we have that information. And we draw, don't have the CPM by route, but that display on your mail and on your route books. We'll go over this again on the next session. And again, so you can either access it from here or go to the complaints tab and access it from there. Now, if you go to help and select the training documentation, that I just went over, and others. So you may want to take a look at this. This will help explain some of the things that you see, some of the menu items. Okay, that's good reference material. There's other help documentation here that you can get into a little bit later, like for route planning. You're not really there yet because you guys are set up for client level routing. So that means that all of your routing information is coming from you. So we're just processing that information as it is. Okay, when you get into using work area design, and you can get into the route planning menus, and we'll probably have a training session to go through that. That's pretty advanced here. All right. So again, the production reports is where you would get your reports. You come here in the reports tab, select the reports, all reports you want to print, select the type of report, and you would get the reports. Once the report pops up, you can print it. Analysis section is where you would go to do some analysis on your routes or on your particular products. You can select one or multiple routes. You could select one or multiple or all products. The different days or frequencies of the different products. You may want to select all if you capture everything. And you can select the type of report that you want to view this in. a 7-day report. But there's other different lists you could see, even if you want to just see a draw recap of that particular product. This is not a report that you would use for delivery. It's just for analysis to see what's on these particular routes for different days. And again, the report default would be plant, and it'll be plant anyway, even if you don't have route reports available or created. The bundle count tool is where you would go to find out how many bundles of a particular product you would need to dispatch to your carrier, depending on what the bundle is for that particular product. You can group routes together if you have a carrier that delivers multiple routes, so that you can get a good total by the grouping. You can schedule in advance different products for the bundle count if you know in advance what it's going to be. So your bundle count report will be created automatically. All right. And you can manage your groups and manage your scheduled advanced bundle reports, right, using these two tabs here. The report preferences, there's two. Plan report preferences is for every route in the plant. This is where you want to set up or change your report preferences so that it'll be applied to every route. The route report preference is an exception to the rule. If you have a carrier that wants a different display of their, say, 2-column route book, you can create a different 2-column route book just for that route, or you can make active a 7-day list. This particular carrier wants a 7-day list. You can create or make active a report preference for a particular route, and that will override the preference for the plant report preference. If you have route report preferences that you want to copy to other routes to be utilized there, then you can use the copy report preference to copy a report preference from one route to another. And the report grouping is where you can select a number of routes to print at any particular time, whether they're early, late, etc. It's just a different way to manage what you print and when. And again, your complaints, you have today's complaints, which is pretty obviously what that is. That's the complaints for the day. Hot complaints, we'll go over this again. These complaints here are available through the links on your home screen. Okay, it's 9:52. Does anyone have any questions of what we reviewed today?
Quiet group today.
Everybody's quiet.
Yep.
Hopefully that means that everybody understands everything that I reviewed. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Fred, I don't know if Jackie's on the phone, but I'm not sure if everybody on this line is tested their accounts in both QA and production. So everybody has been set up an account. And if you haven't been, please make sure you reach out to Jackie to make sure that we have an account set up for you, if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, I believe Jackie had to step off. I think most of the group have received their accounts and their links. I'm not sure about the Austin and Dayton group yet, though. But I know.
Yeah, no, it'd be perfect. If they could just make sure they can log in, just make sure we don't have any problems with anyone's login, that would be,
Yep. Okay.
thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
All right.
Is there anything else? Okay. It was nice meeting with everyone, and this is going to be the end of this training session, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, everyone, have a good day.
Thanks, Fred. Great job.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.